Beneath the merciless blaze of high summer, the Dustwell flatlands glowed with amber and phantom brilliance. Insects shrieked like captured grief, and everything struggling to survive seemed to drift in slow motion, weighed down by the past. Caleb Boone guided his wagon along the forgotten path beside Willow Creek, where wild growth towered overhead and the Carterland lay abandoned, nothing but sagging barriers, a clogged water source, and a storage structure that once held grain but now appeared to collect darkness. Wandering from familiar routes wasn't his nature. Not these days. His spouse had passed 8 years prior, and ever since, each sunrise mirrored the one before. Repairing boundaries at first light, coffee at midday, evening meals consumed alone. Yet that particular dawn, something pulled at his attention. Not words, not images, merely a noise he couldn't identify. A wailing fragile, shattered climbing through the heat shimmer like the final exhale of something that once knew joy. He tugged the leather straps, his mount protesting against the heavy air. The cart came to rest. Caleb sat frozen, unmoving. The noise repeated. So delicate it could have been imagination, but he recognized otherwise. A man who'd endured that much solitude understands the texture of emptiness. And this was different. He dismounted carefully, boots crushing brittle vegetation, palms settling on the weapon he didn't recall carrying. Near the Carterland's boundary, the storage building sagged, partially concealed in shade. An insect darted past his face. He contacted the weathered timber, fingertips tracing marks etched by youngsters now vanished or transformed into local residents. There it came once more. Weeping, though not forceful. Not begging, merely constant, like someone who'd surrendered hope of rescue but couldn't stop aching. He eased the entrance open barely enough to enter. Within, illumination seeped through wooden gaps, creating stripes across the hay like cell bars. The air held sweat, injury, and aged straw. In the shadows, folded like something damaged and humiliated, rested a woman. Her clothing hung in tatters. Her leg twisted unnaturally. Her gaze enormous against a battered face. She blinked upon seeing him, then closed her lids as though being observed caused pain. Caleb remained voiceless. He lingered there, motionless. One palm on his waist, the other hanging loose. She didn't call out, didn't even recoil, just flinched, breathing in gasps. Her flesh showed sunburn along the edges. Her mouth split and dry. Wordlessly, he departed, emerged moments later carrying a worn water container, positioned it beside her, made no attempt to assist her drinking, simply lowered it gently and retreated like approaching a beaten creature who'd learned to fear kindness. He abandoned her there, yet returned the following dawn, bringing food, fabric for wounds, a blue-patterned garment tucked beneath his arm. She remained where he'd found her. Her respirations weaker, her complexion ghostly. She refused the water until his departure. Ignored the provisions until believing he'd gone beyond sight. The third sunrise, she murmured when he appeared. Keep this secret. He knelt near the doorway, light filtering like an oath. Never intended otherwise. I'm serious. Understood. She didn't request his identity. He didn't volunteer it, though he knew hers. Everyone in Dustwell recognized Mabel Carter, the widow who'd wed young, lost her partner in their second season together, then crumbled afterward. Her husband's mother, Tala, branded her disgraceful, claimed she dishonored the family through her appearance, her emotions, her inability to bear offspring. Townspeople had gossiped when she vanished from Sunday services, though nobody investigated why except a child called Elijah, 8 years of age, unable to speak, perpetually concealing himself behind posts. He'd witnessed Caleb passing the Carter homestead and angled his head questioningly. Caleb acknowledged him with a single nod, and though the boy remained silent, the next day clean fabric appeared mysteriously near the barn entrance. Mabel didn't question its origin. She merely held the material against her injury where the discoloration still spread violet. On the fifth morning, Caleb delivered a folded blue garment and positioned it atop a wooden container inside the structure. Mabel regarded it suspiciously. I'm not her, she stated. No, miss, Caleb responded, dusting particles from his palms. You're not. She avoided the garment until he departed. Yet the following day, she wore it. And despite hanging loosely here and fitting tightly there, she carried herself with slightly more dignity. That's when Tala descended. She materialized like a delayed tempest. Arriving in a cart drawn by a laboring animal, her tone already elevated. She adorned black lace hand coverings and the cutting variety of fury that only arrogance cultivates. "You believe she's yours to save," she hissed as Caleb positioned himself at the property's edge, arms folded. "That woman's defective. She's been idle her entire existence, wallowing in comfort and self-pity. She's overweight, worthless, ungrateful." Caleb's tone remained level. It needed no volume. "She's starving." Tala's laughter cut like steel. "She belongs with us, and we can find her because she deserved it. You imprison animals that resist, not women who mourn. She disgraced my offspring. She interred him." Their exchange fell into the oppressive heat like distant thunder. Elijah, concealed near the water source, jerked when Tala screamed, "You'll destroy your reputation for garbage like her." "I possess no reputation worth preserving if I abandon her here." That evening, Mabel hobbled toward the entrance of Caleb's dwelling. He'd transported her previously, but now she advanced slowly yet proudly, her leg bound in material, her palms marked from supporting herself on the walking stick he'd fashioned that morning. Within the residence, the surface held a damaged dish and utensil. A light source flickered dimly. She paused at the threshold, gaze widening. "You're certain?" she questioned. "Enter." She complied. He maintained distance. Didn't sit nearby. Simply served coffee, positioned cornbread on the dish, and inquired about her preference for sweetener. She chuckled just once, a noise so delicate it threatened to shatter, yet endured. When she concluded, she stood. Her legs trembled. He assisted her to the extra sleeping space, once his wife's, and draped a covering over her without making contact. "I'll remain outside," he mentioned. He didn't secure the entrance. Didn't barricade it like she'd grown accustomed to expecting. She woke during nighttime hours, pulse racing. Momentarily disoriented. Then she detected the lamp's faint glow in the adjacent space, heard the creak of a chair in motion. She limped to the entrance platform and discovered Caleb honing a blade beneath the constellations. She withdrew slightly. He glanced upward. "Wild dogs," he explained, "occasionally venture too near." She settled on the step's edge, gripping the covering tighter. "I have no destination." "You arrived here," he countered. She remained quiet extensively. Finally asking, "Why this assistance?" "Because someone should have intervened long before now." She acknowledged this. The subsequent morning arrived with particles and perspiration and timbers scent. Tala returned, though accompanied this time. 2 men rode alongside her, all rigid frames and heavy footfalls. Caleb descended from the platform. His garment hung open at the throat. A tool dangled from his waist. "She's returning," Tala declared. "Or we're claiming her forcibly." "She's staying." "She's my family." "Then you should have honored her as such." One man's hand moved toward his waist, digits twitching. Caleb's words emerged gentle, nearly exhausted. "I've interred serpents more substantial than you both." The stillness that expanded was suffocating. Tala's expression twisted into something vicious. "Fine, retain her. Observe what Dustwell thinks of you presently." They withdrew. That evening, Mabel prepared food for the first time in countless weeks. Her digits shook, though the mixture cooperated. She arranged the baked goods on the platform's railing to settle, then occupied the seat beside Caleb. They exchanged no words. Luminous insects pulsed in the vegetation. A current stirred her garment's edge. And momentarily, the insect's chorus turned gentle. Certain individuals believe salvation arrives dramatically, with violence and spectacular displays. Yet occasionally it manifests with shared nourishment on communal dishes, or a man who observes more than he vocalizes. Sometimes it takes form as a porch chair swaying softly in twilight's glow, and a woman who, for her life's first time, receives permission to rest and remain. And in my perspective, that's the variety of deliverance that endures. Did this narrative awaken something within you? If you value understated bravery, fresh beginnings, and the type of affection that communicates through deeds rather than declarations, then subscribe to Wild West Echoes for additional narratives that mend and linger. Like this if her suffering resonated with you. Comment if you believe nobody merits confinement and abandonment. Activate notifications so you never miss the next journey through dirt, heartache, and possibility. Because in these lands, even quietness carries meaning.